Surveys. I know you wanted to jump into surveys. It's a topic that really doesn't have to come up often in Rhode Island because we're a non-survey state, and we can talk about that in a second. But there are some times where titles are held up because of situations, boundary disputes, easements, encroachments. Maybe people didn't show up. Maybe there's stuff that was missed over the course of 10, 20, 30, 100 years that we uncover.
I think it's a relevant topic because you're seeing a lot more development of property in recent months and years. And with the development of property, lots of times there's lots that are bigger, that are subdivided and turned into like multiple buildable lots. So when a surveyor goes out to a property, they determine the boundaries of the property. Usually what they do is they put a marker in, on the lot lines to make sure that, and they usually like these metal rods that they just hammer into the ground. Because you want to know that is the line that the other side of that line obviously is not your property. On the side with your home is your property, and you can't use the neighbor's lands unless you've got a right to use them, with an easement or that type of thing. So in Rhode Island and Mass, in order for a property to be subdivided, there has to be an administrative subdivision. It has to be recorded in the public records, and that's all based on a survey that's done. It predates your closing, so it doesn't happen after the closing, and certainly that's what happened here. But the question that buyer had was, okay, or just an assumption was made that where those flags were located was where the property line, began and ended. And so, that's where my property line is. And it wasn't called into question until recently that, in fact, it wasn't there. It was much closer to the property. The survey showed where the lot line was. The lesson to be learned, I think, is just, measure it out if you have a survey, and also look for the markers, the rods that are in the ground. They usually have a flag or orange flag that are tied to the rod. And in order to put in a fence, put in a pool, put in an improvement on your property, we've discussed this many times before. Make sure that you pull a permit to do that. You can't do it without a survey. Because we want to make sure that improvement is put on your property, not on the neighbors. It's important also for the audience, anybody who's listening to that's like looking to purchase a property. It's not something that we typically do on a closing. The only time that would come up, that a survey is needed on an existing property, a used home, is if there was an issue with the legal description found during the title search. So if, let's say, the neighbor, records something and says, hey, your fence is on my land, or if the legal description doesn't tie up to the full lot's dimensions, then that would be something that would need a survey to be done pre-closing. This is one of those situations where the flags were relied on and they were, assumed to be in the spot where they thought they were, but they really weren't. So just a lesson learned.